Hey guys, I am Ibigandscary and I'm bringing you another StarCraft 2 replay, this time on the pro level with AcerNerchio playing the blue Zerg in the bottom right corner of Shakuris Plateau, and Roxkis Titan over here in the left corner as the green Protoss. This evidently is for the Go 4 StarCraft 2 tournament over in, I think, Europe. Evidently it's a monthly thing, and you get a lot of money if you win, and this was supposed to be the grand finals, so I think it's a best of 5 games between the two, and evidently there's some fantastic games in it, so I'm looking forward to casting them. Shakuris Plateau, you guys know it, you guys love it. You have a medium-sized ramp leading down to easy to take, easy to hold, natural, larger ramp leading to the very expansive middle ground, a lot of easy to get surrounding ground right here, just a lot of open ground. Third up here, a long walk from the natural. You could also opt for a third here, but that's leading you more towards the enemy. Another thing that you've seen come into play lately has been a hidden expand here, with just taking down the rocks, or maybe even just command center lifting over into that area. One way or another, though, there's a lot of different bases. As you can see, the bases tend to float away from the enemy, as long as you don't opt towards the ones here in the more exposed middle ground. Gateway coming down, no gas out of Titan. Spawning pool, no gas out of Nerchio. There he is grabbing that first gas, pretty standard for now. It looks like with that placement of the pylon, we'll see a forged fast expand here into the Nexus. We've also seen that some people like to get 2 gateways right off the bat and then expand behind that. It's a little bit more heavy on the minerals. It allows you to hold off on grabbing any gas at all until both bases are up. So that's pretty ballsy by Titan. He's relying more on the scouting to know that the spawning pool just finished, and that early gas means that whatever pressure is coming out of Nerchio is going to be not delayed but stunted. It looks like he's got his drone in position to also grab and expand, so both players are going to be content just to hold off and allow the other player to macro for a little while. That first gas comes up and a forge goes down in the natural, so we are seeing that fast expand. Even though there are Zerglings coming out already and there's an Overlord in position, this Zealot shouldn't have too much of a problem. Even if those 2 Zerglings make it into the base, they're not going to be able to do an incredibly destructive amount of damage to the probe line. If we saw a Baneling Nest coming out, or 6,000 more Zerglings, we might, worry about it. But with this wall off completed, it's not really going to be an issue for Titan. That Zealot in position with another one right behind it is going to be able to hold that pretty much indefinitely, especially when this Cyber Core finishes. If he gets enough gas, he'll probably throw down a sentry rather than a stalker. A couple more Zerglings inching out, scouting all over the place. It looks like the Overlord already knows where he is, but this is just them double checking for any proxy of any kind. It's pretty hard to proxy with a Zerg, but it can be done. It's far easier to proxy a Stargate with the Protoss. And with the grand finals on the line, I doubt either player is against cheesing. Baneling Nest coming up for Nerchio, right here. It's a good choice, so probably use it to bust down that wall eventually. It's a pretty flamboyant wall, but the weak points are the pylons. You don't really want to go over here just because you're more exposed along this edge. If you had some stalkers up here, can pick down and do some damage to the banelings as they come in, and you can see there's quite a lot of Zerglings already as they get into position. That Baneling Nest's already up, so 5 Zerglings morphing into banelings already. That's going to be enough to take down a pylon. 1 Zealot going out, but I don't think he's going to push out far enough to scout it. If I was him, I'd probably head him over here, because this is where most people will morph in their banelings. 3 more gateways coming up, just to offer a little bit more of a robust defense. We can see that the banelings come in, but an excellent place force field right here denies the banelings their opportunity to hit. Just a couple of zerglings go down. It looks like Titan is building 2 more gateways behind that pylon to solidify that defense. Those zealots move backwards, giving them just a couple more seconds. The last baneling does blow up on the zealots. That entire force goes down. These probes suffer another hit from the banelings as the zerglings go on and attack the photon cannon. That goes down. You've still got around 8 zealots zerglings in the base. They go to work on the nexus as another sentry, which was hastily warped in, had just enough energy to throw down a force field right here. The 2 other gateways morphing back into a warp gate so that they can add some defense. That pylon went down, and unfortunately those 2 gateways are going to come in unpowered. So even though you could see that roxkis is floating 400, 500 minerals, he doesn't have the warp gates to throw down enough units to spend all that. 3 sentries though, that's quite a lot of force fields, and 2 zealots, that's plenty of DPS. He should be able to handle this if it comes in small enough chunks. Another force field comes down to cut that army not in half, but down to a more manageable chunk. Warp gates are continuing to morph in units, and now roxkis is feeling comfortable enough to push out, but Nerchio has done quite a bit of damage, taking down the cyber core, taking down the gateway, a pylon, and the nexus. All at the same time, Nerchio has succeeded in taking up his base, getting its his first natural fully saturated. These zealots chasing down the last 4 zerglings, they'll probably succeed in taking off 1 or 2 more probes, but the majority of this aggression is done. At the same time, Titan deciding to push out. The amount of defense in the main base for Nerchio is pretty small. He's got another queen on the way. Not too much to deal with that. If he pulls both queens down to the main, he'll hold it and then no problem at all, but these spines will not go up in time. These banelings will though, and with only 3 units down, he's not going to be able to do quite enough damage. Those banelings pop, take out one of the sentries. It looks like 2 more zealots join the battle with a pylon in position, but it looks like Nerchio's bought enough time for these spines to finish, and once they come out, Titan's going to have to pull back as a couple more zerglings join the fray, and that second queen pulls down to help. Some zerglings come out and do a run by of Titan's main force, push back. It looks like Titan has not succeeded in walling off this. He does have 2 sentries, which will succeed in throwing down 1 force field to hold off the majority of the units, but 2 zerglings make it in. Oh, and they do morph into banelings. Good for them. Good for them. It's surprising that Titan hasn't re-walled off that wall. I think he was hoping that any aggression that he was putting on the front door of Nerchio was going to hold them. A well-placed force field right there will hold back the zerglings as they're forced to engage the sentries. 1 goes down, but the rest of the zerglings get cleaned up as Titan's main force pulls back. You can see a spire for Nerchio is being built. He's going to get some mutas out to either do some aggression, or he's going to go straight to corruptors to get in the way of any robotics facility tech that you can see Titan's working towards. Titan is behind definitely on the amount of money he's producing. As you can see, Nerchio is already in position to grab his 3rd, which is a smart play because he's definitely got to contain on Titan. Titan, however, is going to be feeling like he needs to do something. He's going to have to push out, either deny that expansion or come in and decimate a probe line. Titan gets his units on the opposite side of the wall and creates a gateway. You can see a zealot can fit there and zerglings can fit through, but stalkers have a harder time, as do immortals. So any immortals that are coming out of this are going to have to destroy that wall again. It's probable that we'll see a warp gate. I mean a warp prism coming out of the robotics facility. That's going to be nice. He's going to be able to take advantage of these walls, as well as just increase the mobility of his army, making it so that they can warp in different areas. We can see some mutalisks coming out of Nerchio. He's coming into the probe line, really hitting them hard. Roxkis can only afford to warp in one stalker, which is just because he's got so little gas. He's not pulling any of these probes, allowing them to go down to the 5 at the same time. He's pulling up here with some zealots to hit the 3rd, and he's also in position to do some aggression on the main with that warp prism, or maybe just push up into the natural expand. Those mutas move down to the natural for roxkis, and once again start hitting those probes. We can see he's down to only 10. Which is really, I mean, his economy was already suffering. A really well-placed force field right there on the ramp, denying the banelings their opportunity to rush up into the main, but this army is awfully small, and sooner or later they're going to run out of energy. Probes get pulled. He's doing his own version of economic damage. You can see that the zealots have succeeded in taking out that 3rd, but again, the probe count is 54 to 12. So as this army goes down completely, the mutalisks come back to clean up the units. This warp prism will go down. It's just bad. It's just bad. The units are coming out again, but unless roxkis Titan can pull back and really hold off the aggression, he was going to get hit with a bunch of banelings, and then all those mutalisks. We're going to sweep in again and just take care of the rest of those probes. So it looks like roxkis bowed out. It was a great game. I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of the series, guys. Thanks for watching. I am Big and Scary. Bye.